Beautiful baseball day again here in St. Louis, Missouri. Supposed to be up near 70 by the time the afternoon ends. And the Cardinals are going for the sweep. The Nationals really need to win this game. Come home with a winning record, break the 3-game losing streak, and then take it on from there. Let's have a look at some of our game notes, Don. And as usual, Ryan Zimmerman in the thick of things.
I think you could get ready to see notes like this from Zimmerman for a long time. Don't be surprised if that franchise record goes higher and higher and higher. John Lannon, coming off of last year, used that as a perfect springboard to go to spring training this year, thinking he could win a job. He did nothing to stop himself from winning a job. Matt Chico pitched well, so therefore he went there. But, you know, behind the scenes, you know John Lannon was told you're going to be there pretty quick. And no shortage of runs for the Nationals this year, coming with extra base hits. So they're scoring runs. It's just a matter of not giving free tickets and getting people out.
Nationals have scored 30 runs, 17 doubles to start the young season, and a lot of guys in the middle of the lineup as well as at the top are contributing. The Nats at St. Louis. It's a salvage operation at Busch Stadium today. Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. And by PNC Bank. PNC leading the way. The Stan Musial statue presides over the main entrance to Busch Stadium. Over on the third base side, little Dixieland going on this day baseball. Kind of gets you in the mood for an old-time ball game, doesn't it, Don?
Yes, it does.
Shouldn't everybody behind home plate have white shirts and dark ties on today?
Yeah. And the manager with just a scorecard to make pitching changes. This is one of the cities that, as a player, and especially as a young player, I always enjoyed coming to, and on the weekend, because it's a sea of red. And it is one of those franchises that is regionally supported. So you got folks from all over the Midwest to come here. It's just a marvelous downtown. And another sea of red today as the Nationals try to get one of the three. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Bob. I think this is huge. It's huge for the psyche of the Nationals. And let's face it, opening night against the Braves, I don't know if I could really count that as opening night. It was it was almost like a preview, just in and out real quickly. But I think to win today, to take everybody home on a positive note and having good thoughts being talked about tomorrow would be really a boon for them when they start to entertain the Florida Marlins tomorrow night.
Nationals lineup. Washington hitting at .253. We mentioned all the extra base hits. Rob Makoviak gets a start today as Ronnie Belliard sits and Felipe goes to second base.
Yeah, Belliard getting a day off. Felipe back to his same position. Not a whole lot done to the lineup other than the 7th and 8th spot. John Lannon will complete it. And as you're getting to watch there on the left, Nick Johnson hasn't missed a beat. Nick has been raking the ball and running well and sliding well, and he's just right on target.
Nick Johnson in this series 3 for 7 with a homer, 2 RBIs. 29-year-old Kyle Loesch, the St. Louis pitcher. He's 0-1 in 6 career games, 4 starts against Montreal and Washington, and a career record of 63 and 74. Cardinals picked him up on a 1-year deal late in spring training for upwards of $4 million, and hopefully they feel he will give them innings and wins in a pitching staff that's got a few holes in it. Christian Guzman deep to right center. Ball hanging up though, and it's caught by Ryan Ludwig for the first out of the game.
You've seen part of the outfield. Let's check out the rest of the defense. Ludwig and Keel and Barton from right to left as you take a look there. And then on the infield, left to right across your screen, Kennedy Asturias, and then Pujols and Gloss. I kind of made that up. It wasn't left to right. Molina again behind the plate. He's one of the best. And there's Kyle Loesch in the middle of the diamond. Tell you what he did in spring training. Bob, I think you said he signed late. I believe it was somewhere around the 15th of March. Now, remember, we have a well laid out plan. Throw on the side, throw batting practice, throw an inning, throw 2 innings, throw 3 innings. Loesch comes to spring training, and I think he pitched the next day or the day after. So I guess he had a well laid plan at home, too, didn't he?
Must have been ready. Throwing up nothing but strikes so far. And you might say he wasted one on 0-2 to Lasting's Millage. Millage is 2 for 9 on the weekend. 7 for 26 on the young season. Ryan Zimmerman next, and he's swinging the bat well suddenly. And a little flare to left field for a base hit. Millage now a 300 hitter for the weekend.
Let's check out our PNC scouting report on Kyle Loesch. He is, you see his size, 29 years old, still relatively young as a pitcher. Question mark on innings eaters, and I'll tell you why. Because he's called an innings eater, but he's averaged 165 innings a year. That, in my mind, is not an innings eater. We put stay in the zone there because he is somewhat of a contradiction in that he doesn't walk many people, but he doesn't give up many home runs. But he, I think, is typical of the era that we're in.
Millage started, then stopped, and Zimmerman takes a strike. Ryan having a good weekend now. 4 for 9, couple of runs scored. Thought he had a home run here Friday night, but center field held it up. Breeze gently blowing from the left field corner across the field today. Kyle Loesch, by the way, Don, only once in his career over 200 innings. That was 5 years ago in Minnesota. 194 the year after that, and he pitched 193 innings combined with the Reds and the Phillies last year.
And I'm not being critical of him. It's just the era that we're in. He's not an innings eater at 165 innings a year. Under those standards, if you pitch 2 innings, you're a workhorse, aren't you? You're an Iron Man. But that's just the generation we're in. You pay $5 million to a guy who averages 165 innings with a 5 career earned run average.
1-1 pitch. Zimmerman, did he hold? Did not. Strike 2. Might have been a called strike. Jerry Lane behind the plate today. This is a good veteran crew with Ed Montague, then Jim Wolf and Phil Cousy.
This is a crew that keeps the game in control. Not a single excitable person out there. They always keep everything very calm. And Jerry Lane, one of the best in the business. Ed Montague, the leader of the group there. And Jerry Lane, you watch his demeanor. Don't get in a big hurry to find out if it was a strike or not, because Jerry just gives you the little flick to the right. But one of the more personable, calmer umpires in the whole game.
Close but safe is Millage.
Well, from this angle, watch the tag. Did the hand get on there, or did he get the hand? You slide to the outside so that it's a little bit longer reach for the first baseman. That's me. I've gotten the benefit of that call.
Yeah, I think Pujols thought they had him, and Ryan Zimmerman fouls one off to the right side. Ryan hitting .259 now. Couple of homers, 3 RBIs. And I don't want to keep harping on this every day, but I like the way Ryan's making contact. He has made contact in 24 of his 27 official plate appearances. They play him straight away.
That tag over at first is one of the couple of reasons why you see clubs like left-handed throwing first baseman. If that glove had been on Pujols' right hand, that would have been an out. And 2, that throw to second is a lot easier if you're a left-handed thrower. That's
Zimmerman.
Hammered.
Yeah, ball hammered to center. And Anquillo goes back to get it. Boy, Ryan's really hit the ball hard this weekend. And he hits the ball up the middle a lot, so he'll have times when he hits it straightaway center or like that, and guys will chase it down.
Well, he's right on this pitch, up in the strike zone, sinking back into him. Looked like he may have caught it just a little in and didn't get all of it. But Albert Pujols was telling him in a conversation on Friday or yesterday morning that the ball, right now, the ball is hanging just a little in center and in left center.
2 outs now, and Nick Johnson, the batter. Nothing held up his blast here last night. Deep right center with 2 outs in the 8th. Got the Nationals to 4-2. The Flores homer made it 5-4 in the 9th. It was 5-2 and then 5-4. And the Nationals could not get another base runner, and falling by 1 run for the 3rd day in a row.
Not a whole lot of at-bats for the ball club against Loesch, but they are hitting about .330. And Johnson, the guy that's had more at-bats than anybody else, he's 3 out of 11, and in the lineup only 1 home run. You know, no surprises. We were telling you Loesch doesn't give up many, and the only home run hit by Nick Johnson.
Molina, high throw, and they got him. Now he looked like he was back in that time, but Phil Cousy punched him out. And Yadier Molina has picked off 19 runners now in the last 3+ years.
Pickoff end of the inning for the Nationals. Now it's the Cardinals' turn. Let's check out Tony La Russa's batting lineup. You know the pitcher's going to be hitting 8th. How are the rest of them scattered around? Not a whole lot of changes. As a matter of fact, it's identical except for the ace spot. Albert Pujols continues to get game-winning RBIs, 134 in the last 7 years, and just continues to climb up on that list. And everybody, every record he's setting now and every accomplishment, the names alongside are guys who are already in the Hall of Fame. So that's a look at the lineup. And here's a look at John Lannon. Lannon making his 5th start of his career. 6'3", about 220. Did a good job last year. And unfortunately got booted out of that game in Philadelphia when he shouldn't have. But John knows how to throw strikes. That's going to be the key for him, cutting down on that walk total.
Leadoff man is rookie Brian Barton, 4 for 10. And the play that ended the top of the first, very frustrating for the Nationals for a couple of reasons. If you're not going to steal against Yadier Molina, and hardly anybody does, why take a big enough leadoff so he can pick you off? And then secondly, you've got your cleanup man Don at the plate who's paid to drive you in. That's tough.
And having you over there keeps the hole open for him. You don't want to close it up even by stealing second unless they just totally ignore you. But one of the things Manny Acta was saying as we talked to him this spring was he didn't want those kind of mistakes. You know, nobody getting doubled off on line drives, guys getting picked off. He was hoping for the ball club a year where there were none of those, at least only a few.
John Lannon missing on 3 of his first 4. But Manny did make a comment about Lannon during spring training. He said he's one of the few young pitchers he's seen who could close his eyes while warming up and hit the strike zone. So control not usually an issue, but he goes with a breaking ball there on 3-1 and misses badly.
Well, you're talking about Lannon. Let's jump over to our PNC scouting report and see what we have on him. 23 years old, 6'5", 200. Promise fulfilled. Well, we put that in there. He was a minor league pitcher of the year last year. And that promise, the reason we're underlining that, we wondered, were you promised that you'd be up here soon? And some of the behind-the-scenes pats on the back, and we want to do a little tongue-in-cheek with the stay in the game. You know he's been kidded about getting booted out of that game in Philadelphia. But that is not like him. His demeanor is so calm and not very excitable. When you watch the young Nationals pitchers, and you're going to see more and more of them in the next couple of years, look for a couple of common denominators. They are all young men of tremendous character, and number 2, they have a calm demeanor on the mound. They appear unflappable.
Well, you know he's unflappable when they give him his first major league start, and it's at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Rick Ankiel 1 for 7 in this series, a 2-run homer in the first inning Friday night. You hang one to him, he'll do it again. And he was trying to make it 2-0. From what Don and I have seen all weekend, Ankiel dead pull hitter.
Check out the location of this pitch. They want it on the outside. There's your blindfolded strike. LaDuca didn't even have to wiggle the mitt. It was perfectly located.
Target in. You better get it in there far enough. Up and in, ball 2. Maybe a purpose pitch to set up what's to come.
You know, pitchers have styles, but catchers have tendencies too. And as you watch Paul LaDuca for the year, LaDuca is one of those catchers that loves to pitch in. He loves to get outs in, not just to set them up.
Left center. That ball's got some slice on it, and it is at the base of the wall. Brian Barton will score, and the opening walk hurts. Rick Ankiel, straightaway center, slightly toward the left side with his 4th RBI.
think he was trying to duplicate the pitch that got the strike. The mitt is down. So he wants that down in a way. Did you see where that was?
Yeah.
Left-handers on a ball up. Well, left-handers try to stay in longer on left-handers, and it is easier for them to reach a ball up, even if they're pulling off a little bit, than it is a ball down in the strike zone.
Third consecutive game the Nationals have fallen behind early. St. Louis 2 in the first on Friday, 2 in the second yesterday. And Albert Pujols bats, first base open, nobody out, 1-0. Pujols without a homer so far. Hit one that got washed out by the rains here opening day on Monday. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Lennon gave up 3 home runs in 35 innings in his major league debut last year. Got him on a pitch away. Pujols got it up the middle though, and that moved Ankiel over to third base with 1 out.
Good change of speeds there. It must have been, and he must have sold it well, because you don't see Albert Pujols take too many off-balance swings.
A couple of interesting scores in the National League East today. The Pirates have 4 runs at Florida. First place Florida Marlins at 3-2. 4-0 Phillies, or rather Pirates, and the Phillies are at Cincinnati trailing 4-0 in the 5th inning. Mets underway at Atlanta. Braves 1-0 in the top of the 4th. Santana and Smoltz. How about that for a Sunday afternoon matchup? Brett Myers going for the Phillies. Rick Van Den Hert going for the Marlins. Good pitch right on the inside corner. And you're right about Jerry Lane. I guess only Tim McClelland would be slower with strike calls.
Right now, John Lannon really wants Glaus to contact the ball, but keep it in the plate. You'll take a grounder on the infield. This is a part of the damage control. You get him out, you shorten the inning. And who knows, you might get an out without that run scoring at third. But there are times when you're standing out there, all you're thinking about is, well, all you should think about is making one good pitch at a time. But you know, you're not thinking about a shutout. You're not thinking about a no-hitter. I think there are times when you're a young pitcher, you just think about, what can I do to lessen the possible damage?
1-2. Fastball up and into Glaus. Off to a slow start with his new club. 2 for 18. 1 for 7 with a walk in this series. Well, the Nationals in their interleague days against the Angels and the Blue Jays have not fared well against this guy. 3-2. So a couple of fundamental things have gone wrong here. The pickoff of Millage, and then the leadoff walk issued by John to Brian Barton in front of Ankiel's double.
I don't think you can give in and challenge him here. Probably a breaking ball.
Looked like a changeup to third. Ankiel has to go back to the bag. Zimmerman would have thrown him out at home, and that's a big second out.
You've seen Zimmerman, you've seen Millage chasing down a ball. Let's check out the rest of the defense. Bakoviak starts in left today. Kearns familiar over in right. In the infield from third to first, Zimmerman with Guzman Lopez up the middle. Nick Johnson over on the first base side. Paul LaDuca getting the start. And John Lannon with his 5th start of his major league career. And a good job on Glaus.
Ryan Ludwig 1 for 8 on the weekend.
Hold them to 1 run here, and you can mentally take some of the sting out of that leadoff walk.
It's been a battle from behind this whole series.
Well, that's one of the things. And one of the things, too, you could take that a battle from behind the next step. It's been a battle from behind for a number of the pitchers, too. Not getting strike 1 to the hitters. Boy, that is, Randy St. Clair preaches that. Get ahead, then you can do things. Hitter becomes a little more defensive when you can pitch ahead in the count.
Pitch count's going to be high for the first inning. Mid-20s if he gets out of it here shortly. John Lennon, 2-2 career, 6 starts, 4.15 ERA last year. Line drive right at Zimmerman, and John Lennon gets the Nats out of further trouble. St. Louis takes a 1-0 lead.
Final game of the series, final game of the road trip. One inning been played, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Let's take our first look at our Toyota League leaders, and let's feature Nick Johnson. Most pitches per career, per at bat. Nick Johnson, no surprise if you followed them. Troy Glaus, a couple of guys here. One guy in that group that surprises me is Adam Dunn. As much as he strikes out, it surprises me that he would lead the league, the group there. And it also surprises me that 4 of the 5 are what you would consider bona fide power hitters. So an interesting list on our Toyota League leaders.
Evidently, Adam Dunn strikes out a lot on 3-2 pitches.
That's the only way you could read that, isn't it?
That's interesting. Nick Johnson was at the plate when Lasting's Millage was picked off. Breaking ball for a strike. Nick's had a real good weekend thanks to his 3-hit day yesterday. 3 for 7, 2 walks, a homer, 2 RBIs, and he is hitting .368.
He's also part of an interesting group on this ball club. Usually your leaders in the major leagues, your leaders on a ball club, and you know, I for one, I'm not really crazy about that term leader in the clubhouse.
Unless you're golfing.
Unless you're in golfing, unless you got a 2-shot lead sitting in the clubhouse. Kern's next, but the point I want to make is when you find the Nationals on the road, there is a collection you're going to find, and it's usually going to be from 5 to 9 guys. And the starting 5 will be Austin Kearns, Ryan Zimmerman, Paul LaDuca, Aaron Boone, and Nick Johnson. And you will find them somewhere, maybe having a drink, maybe sitting around the lobby or at the ballpark in the locker room. But the conversation is going to be last night's ball game, today's ball game, unless the NCAA Final Four is going on. But those guys sit around and dissect the ball game every day. And I'll tell you, if I were a young player, I wouldn't wander too far from that group.
Right.
I just grab myself a sarsaparilla and slide right up there by them and just be all ears, because you know, these are the guys that are creating, I think, the fundamental backbone of what this ball club is going to be about. That is, play it the right way and just win. Don't look at records. Don't worry about stats. Just do what it takes to win.
1-2 to Austin. Good take on a breaking ball, low and away. Kyle Loesch only took 12 pitches, 8 strikes to get through the first inning, thanks to the pickoff. And the other thing about Nick Johnson, he works the count quite a bit. So Loesch really saved himself some pitches when his catcher picked that runner off first base.
Even though he's up by 1, Loesch is not a guy who is going to just reach back and fog it down the middle. He'll top 89 maybe on his fastball.
On a pitch up, Kearns rams it into left for a base hit, and the Nationals have 2 singles. And then, of course, Zimmerman hammered his ball to left center, caught by Ankiel. So they've been swinging the bats pretty well to start this Sunday game. Paul LaDuca will be next. Yeah, Nick's still thinking about his stroke there. Looks like he was thinking about extension. Paul LaDuca 2 for 14 so far, but a couple of RBIs. Shock in the baseball world today. Yankees 2, Rays nothing. 5th inning. Everybody making such a big deal about what Tampa Bay keeps doing to the mighty Bronx Bombers. Runner going. Pitch low. Throw low into center field, and Kearns goes to third. A rare throwing error on Yadier Molina. And that is the Nationals' first stolen base of the year.
It's usually almost always good when you have the best, arguably the best throwing catcher in all of baseball. But the one downside of that is sometimes if you're a pitcher, you get lulled into a false sense of security where you think, hey, whatever I do, he'll make up for it. And I think that time Loge didn't even take a look at Austin Kearns, who got a walking lead and kept adding and got a terrific jump.
Infield charging in now. This is a La Russa favorite ploy. He starts the middle infielders back at about what would normally be double play depth, giving you the illusion he's not going to play him in this early in the game. And then as the pitch is made, Turris and Kennedy come charging in.
What do you think the purpose of that is? To distract the hitter?
There's a slogan here in St. Louis: different is good.
Okay.
It's something different. And Tony has probably an index card that got him an extra out or two sometime. Now Turris is really deep, and here now Kennedy comes in, and Turris stays back this time.
3-0. They were figuring he might get the green light, and I thought I bet you they were thinking with 3-0 the likelihood of his pulling the ball is greater, so let's take it out.
Nationals, by the way, stole 69 bases last year. That was 11th out of 16 teams in the league. Paul Lo Duca has hit the Cardinals well. His career batting average in the 290 range coming into this season. 3-1, runner at third, one out, the tying run. That's not going to get him home. Two outs. One of the other elements, Don, that has been lacking this weekend, situational hitting.
And they got off to such a good start too in Philadelphia in the a couple of early games there, where there was a stretch there when they were hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. You know what we're already starting to see, and we're 1 week into the season, a lot of ball clubs behind in the count to Paul Lo Duca, 2-0, 3-1, 3-2, are throwing him fastballs just up out of the strike zone.
Felipe Lopez 2 for 7, couple of walks this weekend, starting his 4th game in a row. First one when he's been back on the infield. 2-out RBI badly needed here. Pretty good breaking ball, but just missed. And the count's 1-1. Felipe on the year, 3 for 13, 3 for 11 left-handed. This would be a nice time for his 289th career RBI. Tailing fastball.
Good lesson for young pitchers in watching Kyle Loesch. Till he got that second out, he worked from the stretch trying to keep Kearns' lead at third as close as possible. Now to try to get the third out, he's going from the windup.
Take on the low one, 3-1. Another left-hander next. Austin Kearns stationed at third, single with one out, stole a base, went to third on the error. And he will be stranded unless they boot this ball. And the Nationals fail to cash in a runner at third with one out. It's still 1-0 Cardinals. We are bathed in sunshine in St. Louis, Missouri today. Hope it warms your heart a little bit. We understand it's a little wet back home on this day. Northrop Grumman brings us our sideline reports with Debbie Taylor. And Debbie, how about John Lannon?
Well, Bob, Manny Acta said that he really liked what he saw in John Lannon this spring and last season, but there are still some areas he'd like to see the young pitcher improve on.
He hasn't been overwhelmed, when he's been up here, and also the fact that, he understands what's going on, and he's not in such a rush to be up here. He understands everything, and, he's very easy to coach when it comes down to how to pitch and how to do the other little things in the game.
He said, too, that he would like to see him get more experience with runners on base, learning how to hold the runners, and also that he really liked that he has shown no fear as a major league pitcher.
I'd like to see him have about 5 innings with no runners.
Yeah, I'd like to see him really get good at working from the wind.
Well, this is a new ballpark, a new mound, a new situation for John Lannon. He got a feel for it. 23 pitches, only 10 strikes in the first inning, but he gave up only 1 run. Now in this inning, he got ahead of Yadier Molina, now goes 2-1 on the St. Louis catcher, who's had 3 damaging hits and 3 damaging RBIs this weekend. count even, 2-2.
Lannon has that good changeup, but he also has a couple of different speeds on his fastball.
Molina, as he does when he's swinging well, trying to bump the ball down the right side. As I mentioned yesterday, this guy had a nightmare at the plate 2 years ago and then raised his average 59 points last year. One of the largest raises of a batting average from year to year in recent major league memory. Right side, good pick. Nick Johnson spins, lobs. Lannon catches and tags. Very well done.
Textbook on how to make this play. With Nick Johnson, your first priority is to get to the ball, which he does, smother it. But watch how quickly John Lannon takes off. He doesn't sit there and sightsee. He's at it over there. Nick Johnson has a good first baseman will, a couple of steps right toward Lannon. No fake, no pump. Get yourself moving. The underhand toss. In time, catch the ball, find the bag. You work on that all spring, although you probably don't dive to work on it.
And I'm sure I'm not telling the folks anything back home they don't already know, but there is no coincidence between Nick Johnson and the fact the Nationals have made one error in 6 games. Not that he handles all those chances himself, but he gives his other infielders a lot of confidence. I think he will save Ryan Zimmerman somewhere between 8 and 10 throwing errors this year. And if Ryan throws better than he did last year, that's a number you won't even worry about. Good breaking ball poured in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to yesterday's defensive star of the game, Adam Kennedy. Cost the Nationals the game possibly with that highlight reel dive and a force play up the middle.
Well, I didn't even think he was going to get to the ball, and then when I saw he was going to get to it, I think there's no way he's going to get an out of it. So just a terrific play. Yeah, the Wizard used to get to plays like that. So did David Eckstein.
We are told that Willie Harris can do backflips like Ozzie Smith used to. Another look. It's worth it, Don.
No doubt about it. He had to go a long way. And once you catch the ball, no time to get up and throw. From his back, a strike to second.
I told Adam Kennedy today I saw him on TV as much last night as I did Kansas and Memphis. Not really known for great defense. He's one of those guys who will make the routine plays. He's off to a good start with St. Louis this year, 4 for 10. Lannon gets him reaching. Nicely done, and he'll lob it to Nick for the second out. Nick to John, John to Nick, 2 up, 2 down.
Now that's 5 in a row since the double by Keel, and nobody's hit the ball out of the infield.
And now the pitcher up. This number 8 thing with the pitcher is interesting because normally in this situation you're dying for your number 8 man to get aboard so the pitcher can bat in this inning. Well, here he is batting in the inning. I guess the bad thing about it is if you have a man or 2 on base at this point, it can kill a rally. But Tony La Russa on a daily basis has Kyle Lohse and his other pitchers batting 8th. Now Lohse can swing it a little bit, a 174 career average with 6 runs batted in. And he's a guy who spent a lot of time in the American League from 01 into the 06 season with Minnesota. Some of the American League pitchers get some ABs now during interleague games at National League parks. But that's a good batting average for a pitcher in that league for such a long time. Great
good
tailing
inning.
fastball by John Lannon. And a 1-2-3 and a couple of weak little grounders and a strikeout. We go to the third. Makoviak, Lannon, and Guzman in a 1-0 game.
Retro look at a beautiful ballpark here in Washington. Top of the third, 1-0 Cardinals. The inaugural season at the all-new ballpark is finally underway. You got the Florida Marlins coming in, the 6th, 8th, and 9th. Tickets can be as low as $10 a game. There's a plan for everybody. So make the play and buy yours by visiting thenationals.com or calling 202-675-NATS. Rob Makoviak's going to lead it off. And Debbie, was he surprised to be in the lineup today?
Don, he was really happy to be in the lineup today. He said that he's really looking forward to getting 3 or 4 quality at-bats, and he said although he's in the number 8 spot with the pitcher hitting behind him, he's not sure how many good pitches he'll see today.
Rob Makoviak is a .262 career hitter, 31 years of age. 5'11", 181 from Oak Lawn, Illinois, outside Chicago, and he was originally drafted in the 53rd round by the Pirates 12 years ago. 5 long years in the minor leagues before he got a shot with the Pirates in 01. Works the count to 2-1.
Great conversation earlier today in the locker room talking about it's funny how the conversation, I don't know how it even started, about guys charging the mound. And the question went to Makoviak, did you ever charge the mound? And he said he only thought about doing it once. Apparently he'd hit 2 home runs and then he got drilled in the ribs the next time up on the first pitch. And he said, I stuck a step and then I realized the guy out there was 6'6", 240. I trotted down the first.
Well, that's what he's doing right now. And a leadoff man aboard, a fundamental mistake by Kyle Loesch, walking a number 8 man in front of a pitcher. Now, John Lannon did get a couple of major league hits and an RBI last year in his debut. He was 2 for 13. So he's shown us he can handle the bat a bit.
This is one of those little things we talked about in the open. John Lannon's job right here is to not make a perfect bunt, but get the ball out on the grass in front of the plate and get that runner in scoring position. The only reason for that throw over to first was a quick snap throw just to make sure Lannon would commit, and he did start to move into the bunting position.
And a really good catcher changes this situation, Don. Pujols charging hard. He lays off ball 1. If you don't make a perfect bunt, Molina could pounce out and throw a runner out at second base. And here comes Dave Duncan, who must have seen something possibly concerning the release point of Kyle Loesch, who's having a hard time locating at the moment.
You know, I'll bet you what it is. It's not so much about the mechanics of pitching as it is the mechanics of the situation.
Do you know where you at in the lineup, right?
Yeah, well, here's the sort of guy, he's going to bunt. Come on now, just don't get fancy. Throw him a strike. I agree with you that Molina changes that, but I think when you're trying to sacrifice, you could overthink yourself into a jam. Even if they're all charging, anything 2 steps out on the grass in front is going to get your runner to second. Like that.
That's a good one. Gloss looked at second. Makoviak slides in, and the Nationals convert perfectly. 5-3 on the sacrifice. John Lannon's first career sacrifice bunt. Now, do they throw the ball in the dugout on one of those?
I don't think they do.
Oh, okay.
No, that's like your first get hit by pitch. I don't think you save the ball on that. Okay. See, if you're looking at a textbook, this is not a perfect bunt, but it is perfect to get the job done. Makoviak could see where it was. Klaus had it, but Lannon did not try to say, oh, I've got to deaden this thing now exactly 6.3 inches right side, 10 degrees from the mound. He got the ball on the grass out in front, and consequently the Nationals have a runner in scoring position.
For Christian Guzman, looking for his 3rd RBI, and that's a strike. I noticed on that play Tony La Russa didn't do what he did the pitch before. Pujols and Gloss charged hard the previous pitch. That pitch, Pujols stayed at the bag. He never does the same thing, it seems, on 2 pitches in a row. Breaking ball. That's on the corner. And now Christian has to protect on 0-2. Fly to right, starting off the ball game, fairly deep out to right center. Rob Makoviak, a good base runner, a base hit anywhere not right at an outfielder on a hop would chase him home. That's a little bit outside. Quite a battle in Atlanta. Johan Santana, John Smoltz, bottom of the 5th now, 1-0 Braves. Millage on deck. Top of the 3rd here in St. Louis as the Nats try to tie. Got him. Guzman leaned back, and it did not fool Jerry Lane, who pulled out the slow-mo bow and arrow to punch him out.
Well, he'd thrown him 3 straight pitches out of way, backdoor breaking ball, and then a comeback fastball. That's a good spot. Right at the top of the belt, and you can watch the action late. That had to move back about 6 or 7 inches.
Boy, somebody's going to have to get a 2-out hit done to break this thing. The Nationals just are not hitting well with runners in scoring position.
And some of the best pitches that have been made today have been made by Loge with runners on base.
Millage, 2 RBIs so far. Those are on the blast he hit in Philadelphia Monday. Nationals stranded 6 men yesterday, 13 on Friday, losing both games by a run. They've left 30 base runners in their last 3 games. And a pop-up. Kennedy using his glove for sunglasses. And the Nats are frustrated again. Middle of the third, it stays 1-0 St. Louis.
Bottom of the third, 1-0, and time for our daily look at our Toyota trivia question. In 1987, Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, career high 301, 75 RBIs, and he finished second in the MVP voting. Question is, who won the MVP award that year?
Well, that's a good one. St. Louis's slugger at that time was Jack the Ripper, Jack Clark.
1987.
The Cardinals played the Giants in the LCS, but I don't remember Jeffrey Leonard ever being an MVP. He was their big offensive threat at that time. That's a good question. That's a tough one. I wonder if Willie McGee was in that mix. Or somebody from a team that didn't win a division. Cesar Izturis for the Cardinals against John Lennon. And after going 0-2, he throws him a fastball, or I should say, shows him a fastball away. Big breaking ball. See ya. Wow. What a hook by John Lennon, and his second consecutive strikeout.
A chiropractor's delight and a knee buckler. If we watch the action of Izturis, here comes that ball. It's up high. He bails. Knees buckle. Once those knees buckle, you know he's not going to put it in play. Confession time. Pitchers love to see that action from a hitter. The late Roy Campanella used to call that a jelly leg curveball.
Yeah.
Because he said your kneecaps turned to jelly.
And you have no foundation even if you had the chance to swing. Millage drifting, and a 1-pitch out for John Lennon on a drive by Brian Barton. Just past the top of the hour here in the gateway city of St. Louis, and just beyond 3 p.m. Eastern. Glad you're with us on Masson today. Bob Carpenter, Don Sutton, Debbie Taylor on a beautiful Midwest Sunday afternoon, April 6th, and Nationals baseball at St. Louis. Rick Ankiel doubled off the center field wall to drive in the game's only run first time, and he has 4 RBIs on the year, 3 of them in this series. Goes that way again. Can Makoviak get there? And that ball is in the bleachers.
Well, I guess we must have ticked him off with our scouting report about being a dead pull hitter, because he has sure stayed in on Lannon. The one thing that's aided him today, both of the pitches that he's hammered, though, have been up and not out as far away from him as the Nationals pitcher wanted it. But that's almost in the same spot, trying to get it off the plate, but top of the belt. He sure did stay head down, upper body in on that better than he's been doing the first 2 games in the series.
And they want him to take a curtain call in the 3rd inning of a game. I had a chance to chat with Rick this morning, and you folks now by this day know the unbelievable road he has traveled. He grew up in a broken home. His father has been in prison for years down in Florida, and It's been a rough life for Rick Ankiel. The pitching problems. Now he's back as a hitter. Got married about a year and a half ago. And he's a happy guy now. He's had a lot of bumps in the road, and I guess things you would call roadblocks, not just bumps in the road. 2-0 pitch to Pujols, and look out here.
Also look out 3-0 too, because he's one of those guys that probably has a blanket 3-0 hit privilege.
Yeah. The green light's blazing here if he sees something he likes, and he doesn't, and a 4-pitch walk. John Lannon's second walk of the day. You know, it's interesting, Don, when you're not getting the clutch hits that the Nationals are not getting right now, every run you give up feels like a dagger. I mean, 2-0 is nothing, but it seems like it's more than that because of the way things are going.
Right, but I think if you talk to the players, they feel that unless they have to score 5 to get even, the game is within reach. And I think that is a comforting thought to take to the mound, knowing that, okay, all I have to do today is damage control, throw strikes. So in other words, if Austin Kearns and Ryan Zimmerman and Nick Johnson and Millage and LaDuca all feel like don't make us have to score 5 to get even, that means you can give up 4 solo home runs and you're still in the ballgame.
Yeah.
And I think that should be more incentive to throw strikes.
Troy Glaus on that first pitch was trying to pump one out of here and make it 4-0. John got it by him. He takes that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nationals have kept Glaus in check. 1 for 8 in the series with a walk. Up and in. Ball 2.
Probably if you've watched John Lannon, then if you're a hitter and you get a couple of pitches pumped in on you, I think you're thinking that he's trying to set you up for the changeup. So do you throw that fastball in again?
Looked like a slider or cutter there.
I think that was a cutter because it had the velocity up near 90. Paul LaDuca, thinking along with Glaus, says, okay, you're looking changeup. Let's see if we can get you one on your thumbnail. I think now, though, you have to force him to put something off speed or out away from him in play.
Wow. How short is Troy Glaus that makes that pitch high? Jerry Lane with a low zone. 2 consecutive walks now after the home run by Ankiel, and Ryan Ludwig has a chance to hurt the Nationals with 2 outs.
Pitch count starting to mount for John Lannon, and that's going to bring Randy St. Clair out for a chat with him. And there's Randy St. Clair.
John Lannon coming into this inning, Don, 39 pitches, 22 strikes.
And now only 7 strikes in the inning, and a total up to 56. I think Randy St. Clair beats the maintenance crew here every day. you know, a couple of times when we've had things to do and come over early. Heck, he's already dressed. He's got a sack full of the baseballs out in the dugout and waiting for his first throwing project.
Waiting for someone to throw them.
You know, what he might have said to him is, hey, you're controlling the other stuff as well as your fastball. Mix in some other pitches. And a changeup got him a first pitch strike.
Two on, 2 out. Pop up out of play to the right side, and the count goes to no balls, 2 strikes. Phillies have picked up a run but still trail in the top of the 6th at Cincinnati 4-1. Reds are off to a decent start at 3-2. St. Louis and Milwaukee atop the Central at 4-1. The Marlins atop our division at 3-2. Nats are 3-3. Mets 2-2. Braves, Phillies 2-3. 0-2. He went right after him, didn't he? John Lannon, kind of a mixed bag there. A homer, 2 walks, but 2 strikeouts. 2-0 St. Louis.
Another look at the arch and a look at the 4th inning, where the Cardinals lead at 2-0. If you're looking for something good, let's throw back. Let's go to a throwback day. Against the Cardinals last year, Ryan Zimmerman, one of his many game-winning hits, this coming early in August. This is a tradition that started lately in the game. you get the hit, and then you hope you can survive the pummeling. And the Nationals are hoping that the look at the throwback days will allow them to salvage one of these ball games this weekend.
Well, this one's still very much in reach, but the Nationals are down 2-0 in the early innings for the third game in a row. Zimmerman hit the ball hard to deep center. Rick Ankiel ran it down back in the first inning. That was right before Lasting's millage was picked off first. There are no high in the zone strikes today, are there? And it's the same for both teams. Loesch 46 pitches through 3 innings, 24 of them strikes, so his ratio not that great. He's walked 1, gone to some long counts.
Much like Lannon, they're about 50-50.
Ryan swinging the bat well. Takes it outside, 3-1. Look at that. That is staying on the ball and hitting it well the other way. And Don, since his last 2 at-bats Friday night, Ryan Zimmerman has done nothing but hit line drives for the last 2.5 games.
And he's been doing just this. Even the balls that he's hit solidly have not been balls he's been trying to pull. I mean, the doubles. Stays back with the upper part of the body, short stride, hands come late to the strike zone, but he's been reacting to the pitch rather than committing to a swing and then having the pitch get him out.
And here's Nick. Johnson bounced out leading off the second. And he bats as the tying run here in the top of the 4th after homering last night. Nick had hits in his last 3 at bats last evening. This is interesting. The 2 singles went right up the middle, and the home run went to right center. So he is staying on the ball as well.
Well, let's take a look at that home run. It looked like, and I bet you they thought they had the ball in on him, but he got the barrel out in front, and that ball just a little to the right of straightaway center field. That's a good poke in this ballpark.
Nick Johnson's first home run since taking Chuck James of the Braves deep on September 19th, just 2 days before he was injured. Kearns next. An inning with possibilities here. Big slow breaking ball, and Kyle Loesch didn't get the call from Jerry Lane. He thought he might have circled his way to that outside corner.
I think watching the strike zone, if you're an umpire, is kind of like judging Miss America pageant. What appears to be a winner to one judge is not another, but it's there in the book, but the book gives you the opportunity to interpret your own impression of the strike zone.
Barton looking into the sunshine. Ankiel calls him off. Wow, he's really starting to think like a center fielder now, too. Calling the rookie off the ball. That's 1 out, and Kearns is the hitter. Marlins have picked up a couple of runs, but still trail at home to the Pirates 4-2, top 7. Toronto leading Boston again 6-2 in the 6th. Red Sox off to a 3-3 start. You think they're feeling any pressure in Detroit, where the Tigers host the White Sox tonight and they have an 0-5 record all at home? Nobody expected that from that ball club. Kearns lifts up his arms, and it's 2-0.
With the way Loesch has been pitching and really trying to get them to put a breaking ball in play or a fastball out away from him in play, I wouldn't be surprised to see Austin Kearns take the ball to the right side. Huge hole over there, and he does this well.
Pitch up. And if guys have been paying attention from the dugout, they know that's not going to be called for a strike today. So a good take by Austin.
See, I think if I had the resources and were a ball club, I would put together a scouting report on umpires. And it would be posted in the locker room before you go out to play. So you as a team would know the tendencies of the umpires. Okay, Jerry Lane, low strike zone. Somebody else, high strike zone, wide strike zone. Because every umpire does, it's a different set of eyes. It's the same set of rules in the book, but everybody looks at that strike zone differently.
Right. Kearns well hit. Gloss gloves it. Second for one. Off the bag. And he's still going to call him out at first base. Phil Cousy claiming that Albert Pujols stayed on the bag. And a very good 5-4-3 double play for St. Louis. Nice perch from the outfield. Time to get the binoculars and look straight in on the action as John Lennon warms up. Bottom of the fourth coming up. John Lennon, 59 pitches, 32 strikes in his 3 innings of work so far. And Don and I did glance at a replay or two of that play in between innings, and it appeared Albert Pujols was making contact with the bag when he got that ball in the webbing of his glove. So you have to give 2 stars in the scorebook on that one for the corner infielders. Yadier Molina, the catcher. Then Kennedy, the second baseman. Then Loesch, the pitcher. First pitch changeup. 7-1 now. Reds over the Phillies in Cincinnati. Well hit right center. They played him that way, and he put it right in between them. I'm not sure Yadier Molina will ever have a career triple, but he hit that ball really well the other way and stops at second base.
Near the end of the 2006 season, it looked like he started making the commitment to stay down on the ball and drive it the other way. The ball was kind of in the middle of the plate, but he didn't really, he didn't try to pull it. He tried to drive it hard up the middle. I think the first time I remember his making a deliberate swing like that was against San Diego. And I think in 2006, what he hit 216, but in postseason play he hit 308 in the division series. He hit 348 against the Mets in the league championship series, and he hit over 400 against Detroit. So somewhere between the final day of the season and the first day of postseason play, he made a commitment to do something different. And I remember very vividly so many line shots over the second baseman's head.
And then in New York at Shea Stadium, he pulled a home run to left that beat the Mets in the clinching game. Well, the Cardinals have been putting a lot of pressure on the Nationals here. Nationals pitchers did register those 3 consecutive 1-2-3 innings to end the game on Friday night. But since then, only 3 innings, 1 today, have been 1-2-3 for the Nats staff. That drive right at Austin Kearns, and Molina has to get back to the bag on the first out.
See, that's why I think using the generalization of a pitch count really doesn't make that much sense to me, because you look at today's ball game for John Lennon, and I don't care what the total is. You can throw 120 pitches with nobody on base and pitching from the windup and in a stress-free environment. Isn't that the term Ray Knight uses? Under stress pitches, or there is a term he uses. But John Lennon has thrown 64 pitches, but I'll bet you 50 of them have been under stress. So that takes more out of you. So to take just a raw total is an artificial indicator of how much work a pitcher's done.
Lowe struck out swinging first time up. No real purpose for him bunting a runner to third here, so I'll try to turn him loose, see if he can make contact and sneak one by somebody. He does have 6 career runs batted in.
Good pitch.
Nice breaking ball, choppy swing, strikeout number 4, 2 outs. Make yourself at home at our new ballpark. And the Marlins are coming tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday night on the 10th, the first 20,000 fans get their own Nats schedule and Curly W magnets, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now at nationals.com or call 888-632-NATS. And by the way, when you take that magnet home after the game, keep it away from your Metro card. We read a column the other day that Metro cards can be affected by magnetic things. So keep them away from your Metro cards.
And your credit cards.
And don't run into a problem at the station, which is going to be crowded after the ball game.
Now, is that magnetic schedules? The way our copy reads, it's schedules and magnets. Is it a magnetic schedule?
The copy leaves that open to debate. We need to get that clarified.
Yeah,
you would think so. I mean, we've been giving those out for a couple of years, those magnets that stick to your refrigerator. Guzman with a nice play to throw out Izturis, and the 4th inning is underway. St. Louis has left 4. They've scored 2. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. And by Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the Timeout. Relax responsibly. Stan the Man. That was an interesting batting stance. There's a guy who hit off his front foot a lot.
Yeah, it looked like he was peeking around the corner. Great guy.
Still comes here on opening day and plays Take Me Out to the Ball Game on his harmonica. I think he does that in Cooperstown, doesn't he, when you guys are up there every year?
Last couple of years, Stan hasn't been able to be there with us, but he is the hit of the party on Saturday night when we go downstairs at the Otissaga Hotel. And You Are My Sunshine somehow manages to get played and requested for Stan the Man. Certainly the most popular act downstairs at the Otissaga.
1 ball, 1 strike. That is just foul off the bat of Paul Lo Duca. Nationals hitting some tough luck line drives here for the last 2 batters. Kearns, the hard hit 5-4-3 double play ball. For a moment, I thought Scott Rowland was still playing third the way Troy Gloss played that thing. And this one.
Wake up, Ed Montague, but he was right on it.
A foot foul. 1-2 now to Paul. Off to a slow start, 2 for 15. Takes that breaking ball. Well done outside, 2-2.
Throws that breaking ball hard because it's only about 5 miles an hour off his fastball on that one.
Boy, things must be buzzing in Atlanta. They're now in the top of the 7. Smoltz 1, Santana nothing. Those fans are going to be home in time to watch some late afternoon television or whatever they want to do. Lo Duca with a good swing, and he will drop one into right field. So the Nationals have hits in 4 of the first 5 innings. But that's the problem. 1 hit per time, and they need to put some together here. Felipe Lopez is next.
And Lo Duca taking a page out of Ryan Zimmerman's book and hitting it to the right side. That may be the best located pitch in that hole at bat.
And Escobar double is the difference in that Atlanta game with the Mets. Good looking young infielder. And here's Felipe. Ground ball out in the 2nd. He's 2 for 8 in the series. Getting down to the bottom of the order. Got to string some hits together pretty quickly.
He hasn't given him too many pitches to pull, has Loge, but that was one that Felipe Lopez had that he could have turned on, but with all the soft stuff that he's thrown left-handers, that may have been in the back of his mind.
And that fastball was 89. Probably looked a lot quicker than that, and Felipe takes the very same pitch for strike 2.
See, that's one of the things that really is a burr under the saddle of Lenny Harris, because Lenny said you grow up in the minor leagues being taught to hit fastballs. He hates to see his hitters take fastballs.
And then you strike out on a breaking ball that drops down into the dirt. Maybe a changeup down and away from the left-hander.
I think that's what it was. Watch the turnover action as it goes down away from him. Changes the grip in his glove. Second thought, the way after looking at that, that may have been a backdoor curveball.
Yeah, it looked like it did come back a little bit.
It didn't have that soft float away speed of a changeup.
Rob Makoviak walked his first time. Is St. Louis pitching this well, or are the Nats struggling this much at the plate? A little bit of both. Their staff ERA is second to the Dodgers. Now, when the Nationals came to town, St. Louis had a ridiculously low 1.00 ERA. Dave Duncan's staff at 2.20 now. The Dodgers at 1.84.
And that's without two of what you would have to call of their aces, Mark Mulder and Chris Carpenter. So it's a makeshift rotation.
Well struck by Makoviak, but right at Brian Barton. The American League's lowest ERA in the early going, Toronto at 2.72. Josh Beckett, by the way, back off the DL, pitching for the Red Sox today, but it didn't go well for him. Facing Roy Halladay in Toronto, Blue Jays 7, Sox 3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. And so much for that inning that started with a leadoff single. Nationals have left 3 halfway through. 2-0 St. Louis.
Halfway home, and it is not a good ride. The Nationals trail it 2-0 going to the backside of the final game here. Time for us to take a look at our Firestone game summary. Kearns with a single. Millage single and picked off. The last 3 innings, the Nationals have had the leadoff man on, but Rick Ankiel has supplied all of the power that the Cardinals have leaded. A double, a homer, and 2 RBIs. And Kyle Lowe's, the innings eater, has pitched himself a good ball game. Only 1 walk. Kyle Loesch and the combination of Loesch and Ankiel has given him a 2-0 lead heading to the bottom of the 5th.
Ankiel 3 hits this weekend. A double and 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. He'll bat after Brian Barton as John Lannon scrapes off the spikes and walks to the top of the hill to start the bottom of the 5th inning. I always laugh when I see that rubber thing on the back of the mound. A St. Louis pitcher, now broadcaster, Al Raboski, claims that's the only thing they've done for the pitcher since 1968.
And it replaces the tongue depressors that you used to have to call and have the athletic trainer bring out to you.
There it is. There it is, folks. All the pressure.
You know what? It's amazing to me. That's been there for a while, and you find it at most ballparks. I've never seen a pitcher get tripped up on one.
Good breaking ball, but it was hanging a bit, and the line drive hanging for Makoviak, who had it and lost it when he made contact with the ground. That'll be a base hit for Brian Barton.
Unlike football, in baseball, the ground can cause a fumble, and a good break by Makoviak. That ball was spinning downward on him. It looked like he had an overspin, had some sinking action, and then took a step sideways, got to it, had it in, and as the rule says you have to physically take it out, so that's a catch. But he wasn't able to take it out. As he reached for it, it flipped out of the glove, so it's a single on a good try by Makoviak.
Outfielders wear big gloves to make those kind of shoestring plays, and sometimes the ball finds its way from the heel to the pocket and squirts out the web.
That one is a soft shell taco. It is not the hard shell one.
Here's Ankiel. I know, talking to Felipe on Friday, he now uses 3 different gloves. A medium for shortstop, a smaller one at second base where he is today, and then he borrowed a glove from Lasting's Millage. That's the small second baseman's glove to get the ball out quickly in a double play, and then a long outfield glove that he used in left field. Breaking ball, Ankiel foul tips it.
He may be the only guy in baseball then that calls his glove company with whom he has a contract and they say, what do you want this year? He said a small, medium, and a large.
Yeah.
Like ordering pizzas.
0-2 to Ankiel. Well, now you got to think about what you throw him away. The fact that he's doubled to center and homered to left center today.
Horizontally, away is okay. You just can't get it up where he can handle it.
Right to the bag. Guzman will turn a 6-3 double play, playing up the middle against the left-handed batter, and the Nationals turn their 6th double play of the year.
And see, that was a breaking ball out away with some downward action on it that caused him to lean over. So he had to bend at the waist to make contact, unlike the other 2 pitches where he stayed upright and was able to drive them.
Pujols with 2 outs, bases empty, and a backdoor breaking ball drops in. John Lanning finding himself here. He just hit last inning, so he may be around to pitch a few more. Hard hit, backhand, Guzman from the grass. Plenty of time right on target to Nick Johnson. And a good defensive inning for the Nats. A good pitching inning for John Lanning.
Five in the books, and the Nationals playing catch-up as they come to bat here in the 6th inning. Don't forget, Nats are coming home, and you can welcome home Nationals fans to the new Nationals Park. It's the ultimate entertainment experience. The all-new ballpark wide open tomorrow night, and will be open all week with the Atlanta Braves coming in over the weekend, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Saturday the 12th, the first 20,000 of you will get your own Nationals car flag. That's courtesy of Geico. Go to nationals.com or 888-632-NATS to get your tickets. I do left fielder, Bob.
Skip Schumacher in left field. He seems to be the designated late game defensive guy. They got a walk and a base hit out of their rookie Barton today. Christian Guzman, time for the top of the order to get something going here. Kyle Lohse is really varying things. Nothing is the same one pitch to another. Location, speed, movement.
And with about a 15-16 mile an hour gap in his top speed to his bottom speed.
Guzman tried to pull it out of the ballpark, but he got under it. And Ryan Ludwig for the first out. After 3 consecutive innings with the leadoff man aboard, Guzman flies out. He's 1 for 13 in this series. That'll bring up Lasting's Millage, 1 for 2 today, and 3 for 11.
Last couple of innings, he's gotten some early strikes with his breaking ball.
Breaking ball that was hanging a bit, but it's not deep to left. Schumacher underneath it. I think he got away with one right there.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Not only was it upstairs, but it was on the inner half of the plate. Lowe's has got to look at that kind of like a Shar-Pei puppy. It's so ugly it turned out pretty.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a hanger. Those are the kind that you go back to the dugout and slam the helmet and throw the bat down. And
yeah, I'm not sure you even want to go to the video room and look at that at bat. You just get yourself madder at yourself.
Hit delete.
Ryan Zimmerman, a line drive to center, a line drive to right for a hit. He's 1 for 2. And Ryan's had a good weekend, 5 out of 11, but without an RBI. We've got a bunch of games for you on high def this year, and we're going to get that going tomorrow. Hope you can join us on Masson HD, 7 o'clock, Nationals and the Marlins.
Well, our purpose in being here is to bring you to the ballpark, you folks at home, and with high definition, you almost feel like you can walk out and play. Do you remember the first time you ever saw high definition?
Yeah.
I did. I saw outdoor live fly fishing and literally thought I could step up and start casting.
Do you know where I first saw it? In Japan.
Really?
Yeah, like late 80s they were tinkering with it, and I saw it at an electronics show in Tokyo, and it was a music video, and I thought Dionne Warwick was standing in front of me singing to me. It was unbelievable, and now we've perfected it many, many years later. And by the way, in that game, Tim Redding, who was brilliant at Philadelphia against left-hander Andrew Miller. The Nationals will see 3 lefties from the Marlins in that series. That ball almost in the wheelhouse of Zimmerman, out of play to the right side. Day off Tuesday, 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Also on Mass and HD, Bergman and Scott Olson. Thursday night game, HD, Odalis Perez, Mark Hendrickson. Nationals and the Marlins had some serious battles last year. Something unusual seemed to happen almost every series when the Nats played those guys. Zimmerman, fly ball. Ludwig, 3 fly balls, 3 outs. Middle of the 6th, 2-0 St. Louis.
You're looking at John Lannon there. His day got off to a shaky start with a walk and then a double, but he's pitched quite well, making this a 2-0 ball game. And he is a subject of our Geico highlights. Lannon has had his strikeout pitch working today with a total of 4. That's number 1. Got Loge. And he's had some easy comebackers. So people have been off speed or have been off stride, and he's made some really good pitches. He also added on that strikeout, he got Ludwig for the final out after a home run and a couple of walks in the 3rd inning. So John Lannon has done his job. It's a 2-0 ball game, and it's a very winnable ball game thanks to his clutch pitching.
3 outs away from better than a quality start. Real good pitch counts, 10 and 9 the last 2 innings. Troy Glaus leads off. And like Adam Kennedy yesterday, his defensive play today a big factor in this game, keeping the Nats off the board. 0 for 1 with a walk. John Smoltz, by the way, out of that game in Atlanta. 8th inning. Peter Moylan has relieved him, and the Braves still lead the Mets 1-0. St. Louis trying to keep pace with Milwaukee. The Brewers behind Ben Sheets, shutting out the Giants 5-0 now in the 8th inning at Milwaukee. Both clubs are 4-1. John pours in a pitch just a little bit high to 3-1. Even the scoreboard thought it was a strike. They put it up there, and Jerry Lane not given the high strike today. So you throw one down low, and the guy hammers it to right center. When you cannot get a strike called above the belt, Don, it makes pitching difficult.
Well, it allows hitters to zone in one half of the strike zone, really, because they know that they don't have to swing at anything from the belt up, so you can just focus in the lower half, and that's what he does there. That's down about thigh high, but 3-1, you got to throw a strike, and you got to take your chances that somebody will catch it. But I think everybody knows each umpire has his own interpretation of the strike zone. All you can ask for, you can complain about it, but all you can ask for is consistency. And Jerry Lane is that. His strike zone doesn't waver. It doesn't in the 9th inning with the game on the line. All of a sudden, does he decide letter high is a good pitch?
Yeah. The only problem I have with that is that several years ago, when they unified the umpires in the league, we were told there would be a uniform strike zone. And I think the veteran guys kind of winked at each other and said, no, there won't.
We'll go along with that.
This will be 1st and 3rd, nobody out. The Nationals have had 2 hits in 1 inning once since the 4th yesterday. St. Louis putting some pressure on the Nationals. This is the first time they've had 2 hits in an inning today. Hard throwing Joel Hanrahan getting ready, and Paul Loduca buying him some time.
I think if you're the runner at 3rd, you're going to go on contact, try to stay out of the double play as Joel Hanrahan loosens up. But I think if you're the Nationals, you're in a little bit of a predicament here. You'd love to go 2 for 1 and take the double play, but the struggle that it's been getting runs, I'm not sure if you're thinking you can afford to get down 3-0.
St. Louis warming up a pitcher, indicating that Kyle Loesch may not be long for this game. Yadier Molina doubled the opposite way last time. First and third, nobody out. And he's just shooting the ball to right field all day long, all weekend long, really. So, Don, if a guy's doing that at bat after at bat, how do you attack him?
Well, I think you first of all, you want to make him inside conscious, but in this situation, you would like to take that swing and speed it up a little. If you can locate your changeup down on a guy who's driving it to right, you can move the bat, you cause him to move the bat out front, and you can get a roller. But if you're going to go the changeup, it's got to be down.
Broken bat. Zimmerman catches it and then eludes the barrel of the bat that came just to his left.
Or you can break his bat and get a soft liner at third.
Yeah. Hey, option C's not bad.
Ho-hum.
Now the double play gets you out of the inning. Adam Kennedy not fast to foot. Left-handed batter steps in. And John Lannon has a chance to finish this game with a flourish if he can keep it a 2-0 affair here in the sixth. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is the first inning in which he's given up more than one hit. 2 walks in the third didn't hurt him. A walk in the first did. Barton led off the game with a walk, and Inkiel drove him home with a double.
Left-hander pitcher back to third base. If Tony La Russa, who is sometimes unconventional, wanted to do safety squeeze, Lannon will be the last to know that he's going.
Breaking ball just goes outside. Adam Kennedy 0 for 2 today. 1 for 5 in the series.
But he's also going to be tough to double. Left-handed hitter, runs well. Good breaking ball. See where the location of this pitch is. This is where he's been trying to throw that ball. It's the one he's been trying to throw to Ankiel. Big sweeper. It looks juicy till it gets about 4 feet in front of home plate and just kind of disappears on the outside part of the plate.
Up and in. 8th inning now at Cincinnati. Phillies down 8-2, and that was Brett Myers again today. And the Nationals had their way with him on Monday. So he's been hammered in his first 2 starts. Still 1-0 in Atlanta. Braves Mets, bottom of the 8th. 2-0 here in St. Louis.
Runner going.
Lannon, little roller. Runner coming home. This should be easy. And Loduca tags a runner that didn't even have a chance to slide. Gloss out at home on a 3-2 fielder's choice.
Well, you run to stay out of the double play. You send the runner at third on contact to stay out of the double play. There's no reason here for Glouse to be going. This is a ho-hum easy play. You know, this is a free throw. Here's Glouse, made up his mind to go on contact, but with the runner going from first and second, there really was no reason for him to go. They weren't going to double him up anyway.
Now you got the pitcher Kyle Loesch and John Lannon. If this is the end of the road for him, he finished it very well. It'll go down as a quality start. Let's see if his teammates can get him some runs.
Spring has sprung in St. Louis, but no spring in the step of the Nationals offense as they head to the 7th, trailing 2-0. Let's refresh your memory as to our Toyota trivia question. The year 1987. Ozzie Smith had a good year, but he finished second. Who was the MVP? Do you remember? We've been speculating the heck out of it. Bob Carpenter thought it might have been a year when a last place guy won the MVP, and the survey said Andre Dawson. Andre Dawson with the Chicago Cubs, the winner of the MVP that year. Andre Dawson, who has the credentials many people believe for a plaque at Cooperstown. 7th inning, Johnson to lead it off, Kearns and Loduca. 2-0 Cardinals.
Cubs were last that year, I believe, and Don, I think that's the only time that's ever happened. How valuable was he?
Well, that's a true definition, I guess, of a most valuable player, but a lot of protagonist would say, if you finish last, it doesn't matter who's most valuable.
Randy Flores, the left-hander. Kelvin Jimenez, the righty, up earlier. Nick Johnson takes, and it just misses. And you can imagine how popular that MVP was here in St. Louis, where they won the division and a Cub was the MVP. Nick Johnson got jammed. Right field, Ludwig.
We talked earlier about Losh's velocity in the high 80s, but one thing he's done, he's given up a lot of fly balls, but he hasn't given up a lot of fly balls on pitches in the middle of the strike zone. When he's tried to come inside, he's located the pitch inside, either on the corner or in off the plate, so the hitters can't catch it on the fat part of the bat. He's not afraid to back up an inside fastball with another one either.
Austin Kearns 1 for 2. He's hit the ball well twice. Austin pulled a base hit to left, and then he pulled one real hard to the third base side that Troy Glaus turned into a sparkling 5-4-3 double play. Two and 0. Hey, good news yesterday here. Chad Cordero threw pain-free in the bullpen for a while. Nothing but fastballs. Kind of checking him out on a daily basis. Dimitri Young is unavailable for the next couple of days after getting a shot yesterday for his very sore back. Johnny Estrada starting his rehab this weekend at Columbus. And Kearns got a pitch to work with. What did he do with it? Not enough. Man.
Caught it right on the end of the bat. A good swing, good level plane, but the ball just out near the end. He'd love to have that pitch. He'd love to locate this about 2 inches in. Do you see how far it was out on the end of the bat? Get that ball another inch or two. Hands in close, got the barrel into the hitting area, but the ball just caught it right out near the end. A lot of fly ball outs by Kyle Loesch. Fly ball pitcher like him, you can see why he didn't enjoy pitching in the Metrodome.
Lo Duca 1 for 2. Base hit the other way last time. Man. Kyle Loesch looks like Darryl Kyle today.
Only one walk. Terrific location. This is as good a command in and around the strike zone as I've ever seen out of him.
And then when you're trying to figure out all these other things, he throws you a little BP fastball right down the middle. Nationals are running out of outs. Top of the 7th, trailing 2-0. They've been mounting a few comebacks here in this series. They haven't led for a single inning here in St. Louis. Lo Duca turns on that one. Hits it right to Troy Glaus. 7th inning stretch time on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in April for baseball. St. Louis and Loesch in control. John Lannon, 92 pitches, has earned the right to pitch again here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Nats fans, we still have some prorated season ticket plans available. Tickets as low as $10 per game and a plan for every fan's need. So make the play by yours by visiting nationals.com or call 202-675-NATS. They get to look at the arch. We get to look at the Capitol. And it'll be an HD tomorrow night. The Capitol Dome will look like it's right outside your living room window tomorrow night.
Yeah, resist the urge to put yourself in the game, though.
You might.
You want to try. I know you're going to want to try.
You might feel like you should be casting a vote or something when you see that.
I know what everybody's going to do, or most people are going to do. They're not going to resist the urge to help Maniac to manage tomorrow night. Everybody wants to do that.
So John Lannon's 92 pitches, 56 of them strikes. Cesar Izturis leads off for St. Louis in the bottom of the 7th inning. Then the top with Schumacher and Ankiel. One hopper beyond Felipe Lopez. Cesar Izturis only has a couple of hits in this series, but he's been on base a lot.
A little bit too much of the strike zone on that fastball that drifted back in. If you watch Manny Acta in the past, and if you go to watch him in the future, one of the things you need to remember about him as a manager, if his young pitcher's done a good job, he will never let him lose if he's up by 1, 2, or 3 runs. And if he's down, he will not put him in a position to embarrass himself. Right now, Lannon has given you no reason to take him out of the ballgame. Still making good pitches. Left-handed hitter up there. Left-handed hitter following him. You might see a right-hander if they get to Pujols. Runner going.
And a bouncer behind the runner. That might have been too slow for a double play anyway. But St. Louis playing a little small ball to move a 3rd run into scoring position here. Just a little after 4 o'clock Washington time from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Masson and our coverage of Nationals baseball. Bob, Don, and Debbie with you, and we'll be right with you tomorrow night. It'll be great to be home. For those of you who can't be at the ball game, high definition Nationals baseball against the Marlins. Did we mention the games in high definition?
I heard a rumor.
Rick Ankiel, what a big day for him. A double, a homer, 2 batted in. Skips back from that one. And John Lannon, unless there's a line drive double play picking off a base runner, might be facing his last hitter of the day. Big breaking ball, just foul outside the bag.
Got away with it. Off speed and inside, so Ankiel was unable to keep it fair.
So how many pitches did you say the other day that pitchers get away with during a game?
Oh, I think if you have a great day, you throw 15 to 20 where you don't want them, and you get away with all but 2 or 3 of them if you have a great day. Other days they're going to hit good pitches, and some of those days where every mistake you make is going to get hammered and every good pitch is going to get hit too. But on a great day, you're going to make mistakes. There's nobody goes 9 innings. Well, nobody goes 9 innings anyway, but nobody goes 9 innings and throws everything exactly the way they want it, where they want it. Not even Jake Peavy, who's coming about as close as anybody can.
And if Bob Gibson made a mistake, it probably was under your chin.
That's not a mistake. That's a purpose. How about Peavy's start?
Yeah, he's something.
Good pitch.
Ankiel will pull it. Lopez will throw him out. And is John Lannon done for the day?
This is where Manny Acta says, nice going, young man. You've done your job. We're in this ball game. Now I'm going to get a right-hander to get out a right-hander. That is a vote of confidence for John Lannon, who's pitched well. Yeah, you had the left-handers up there, but you got Ray King in the bullpen. So what Manny Acta treated him like a veteran in a ball game that he's pitched well in.
Yeah, great point, Don. He sure did. 3 walks. They were all early. 4 strikeouts. 7 hits in 6 2/3, and a lot of pats on the back for John Lannon. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at one of the future building blocks of this franchise, just 23 years of age. Manny Acta indeed treating 23-year-old John Lannon like a veteran, and he pitched like one. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Washington Nationals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. High octane matchup here. Hanrahan goes with a slider. First pitch to Albert Pujols. For Joel, fourth appearance, trying to get that 6.75 ERA down. A walk and 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3.
It's not a time to reinvent yourself as a pitcher either. Pujols, yeah, he's a good fastball hitter, but you have a great fastball.
Slider 2, ball 2.
If you're going to throw that slider, you have to throw it for a strike, or concede the fact that you're going to try to get out Troy Glaus. Because when you have to come with a fastball, unless you put it right there, which what was wrong with that.
Wow.
Pujols, I'm betting you green lighted. Figures he's got to get a fastball.
Well, the fans are going to boo, but one, maybe two of those pitches on many days are strikes.
Maybe one of those new high-tech plates with no corners on it. Those two look like terrific pitches. If that was a purpose, and you said to yourself, I do not want Albert Pujols to damage me, then you've got to double your efforts against Troy Glaus and get ahead early and try to put him away.
Glaus with a walk and a double today. Pujols is a very aggressive base runner.
Well,
there are times when Tony La Russa will do some things with him.
Well, he's one of those guys, if you ignore him, and there's a tendency to do that with big guys like big corner infielders or catcher. If you ignore him, he just kind of keeps easing out, and never stops.
He's got a big lead. There he goes. No play, nobody covering. That's not really defensive indifference at this stage of a game. That'll be a stolen base for Albert Pujols.
It's indifference, but it's not defensive indifference in the book. You're right. See how he just kept bouncing? He never really came set. All his momentum was going. He was off before Joel Hanrahan ever raised his leg.
One ball, one strike, second and third, 2 outs. That ball's coming back to Nick. It's coming back, and he lost sight of it. Now the sun is directly over the first base grandstand here at 3:12 local time, and as Nick approached that side, he was looking right into the sun.
That's about as bad an angle as you could get to, and then when he looked for the tarp and found it, then looked back, he looked right into the sun. We'll check with him later on, but I'll bet you he lost track of that as it went right through the sun up there.
No shades, but Nick does wear the eye black. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball struck him out. Pitched by Hanrahan. The Cardinals threaten but do not score. They've left 8 to the 8th. It's still a 2-0 game.
You look at the crowd as they're happy. They're looking for a chance to sweep 2-0. We'll be back at home tomorrow night. Nationals entertain the Florida Marlins at the new Nationals ballpark. Tim Redding is going to tee it up. He had a good outing his first time. Got a win, went 7 innings, and just commanded the strike zone in that ballgame. Our coverage kicks off at 6:30. Nats Extra featuring Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight. Another opportunity for maximum access to the Nationals all season long on MASN High Def.
Randy Flores, St. Louis veteran left-hander. He's an interesting story. Randy Flores came out of high school and he wanted to go to the Air Force Academy, wanted to give up on his baseball career. His dad said, well, why don't you take a shot? And he walked on at USC and became their all-time winningest pitcher with 42 wins in his collegiate career. Felipe Lopez turns around, bats right-handed. That ball up and in, 2-0.
So since then, the wild blue yonder has had a whole different definition for him.
Well, he's 6 foot 190. He would have easily fit into a cockpit in Colorado Springs. Little tapper, left side. Glaus charges, bare hand, perfect. Both teams have played very good defense all 3 games of this series.
Well, there are smaller hams than those hands there, but he makes this play very well. Comes in, looks it into his bare hand, throws in one motion. Gloss doesn't have the range that he used to have, but a solid third baseman who can really make that play.
Ronnie Belliard started the first 2 games of this series. He'll pinch hit here. And he gets a warm reception from the fans who remember his contributions after the trading deadline to the 2006 World Series team. Ronnie Belliard came over from Cleveland at the trading deadline, and Tony La Russa doesn't look like he wants to face the right-handed batter who hit .237 for St. Louis in 54 games.
So that little meeting on the mound was just a little delay tactic to give the right-hander warming up a little extra time.
St. Louis into the bullpen for Ryan Franklin with 1 out in the 8th inning.
Let's a look at Ronnie Belliard coming on to pinch hit. As Bob mentioned, he spent some time here in St. Louis, 54 games to be exact, had 5 home runs. So he made some definite contributions, drove in 23 in that 54 game segment. Still the same hitting style, isn't it? Driving that ball, and he made some good defensive plays. Solid play going back a second. We've seen that a few times. People still talk about last year. Remember the play last year he made to get the out at second? People still talk about that, and with a lot of friends all around here. A little agitation, but Belliard, who enjoyed his stay here and is now batting with 1 out in the 8th.
The outs are dwindling. 33-year-old Ryan Franklin, he was in the ball game here Friday night and pitched a scoreless 8th inning against Guzman, Millage, and Zimmerman. This St. Louis bullpen, everybody knows Jason Isringhausen. Ron Vallone's been around a long time, Franklin as well. What do you think of this bullpen from these guys you've seen this weekend?
Well, I think they could use another guy or 2 down there that you can count on, but what Tony La Russa does as well as anybody is matchups. So he tries to get the guys, regardless, out back a shortstop where it should be easy for his tourists, regardless of how much success a guy's had or how old he is. He's a matchup manager, and I know a lot of that, a lot of the credit, a lot of the conversation goes to pitching coach Dave Duncan, who keeps better books than my CPA, but he likes matchups, and I think what you try to do and what he tries to do is mix and match and get matchups to get him to Isringhausen.
Retro ballpark, retro wave going on. Yeah, there's Dave Duncan's binder. They would need decoders from World War II to figure out what's in there.
You know, the only guy I've ever seen that keeps a bigger collection and thicker binders than he, Rene Latchman. Rene Latchman, I can remember going to a ball club, having played years against some clubs that he had coached on. First day with the ball club, comes in, he flips out the notebook. Okay, here's what you did against us. Here's what the pitches were. Here's what we did. So those 2 guys keep in the books.
Good swing by Willie Harris, pinch hitting. The Nationals cannot buy a hit in St. Louis. It's been since the 5th inning.
Too many goose eggs on that top row. It's 2-0 heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Our Morgan Franklin pivotal play came in the first inning. The way the Cardinals had pitched, it looked like this 1 run driven in might be enough. A long fly ball off the bat of Rick and Keel. It drove home Barton, who had walked. A 1-0 lead. They have since extended it to 2, but that's our Morgan Franklin pivotal play.
Ronnie Belliard stays into play second base, so he's up the middle with Christian Guzman. And after Belliard hit for Rob Makoviak, Luis Ayala is backed up by Lopez in left and Millage in center, Kearns in right, and the infield of Zimmerman, Guzman, Belliard, and Nick Johnson. Luis Ayala His 4th appearance already. 2 1/3, only a hit, a couple of walks, both intentional. So 3 pitchers now have 4 appearances. Ayala, Ray King, Saul Rivera, and we'll add Joel Hanrahan to the list, who just made a brief 4th appearance of the year. Pitching good today. You know, Don, if the Nationals had 4 runs on the board, we've been crowing about the brilliance of John Lannon and the pitching staff today. And in a ball game like this, when the Cardinals have stopped the Nationals offense, just a couple of little things spelled the difference of the game. And Ray and Johnny will be talking about that on Nats Extra postgame, presented by ChevyFirst.com. Hopefully an inning and a half away. We'll have to see about that.
Luis Ayala, now the senior member in terms of service on this ball club. Had to think a little to figure that one out. Remember, it was Brian Snyder.
Yeah.
Now it's Ayala.
And now it's Ludwig plugging the gap. Now it takes forever to get the ball back in.
It'll be an interesting scoring decision if they come up with it right away. Ludwig was going to stop at second, but apparently they're going to give him a triple on it. But that ball right there, there's a little cutout area underneath the padding there, and Lastings Milledge had trouble digging it out. Down Broadway, hitter's pitch. Watch the ball now scoot and go under that little niche there. No, it actually hit his glove and kicked back, then went under there. Yeah. I thought it had hung up under there. He's a little ticked off that he didn't come up with it.
I'd have to give him an error on that. Haven't posted it yet. Runner at third, nobody out. St. Louis with 8 hits. I mean, not exactly a barrage, but the timing of their hits has been such they've been putting pressure on the Nationals all day long. John Lannon wiggled out of a couple of jams last inning. So did Hanrahan. Yadier Molina 1 for 3 today, 4 for 10 in the series, and looking to get his 4th RBI. And it'll really be bleak if St. Louis makes it a 3-run game. That will be deep enough to do so. Yadier Molina's 5th RBI of the season, 3-0. Top of the order for the Nationals, and that's why you wanted to see it stay a 2-run game. Now the Nats will need 2 base runners to just think about getting on the board. First couple of finals of the day. At home, Toronto 7, Boston 4. At home, Yankees 2, Tampa Bay 0, behind Chien-Ming Wang, who was brilliant today. And at home, the Marlins lost to the Pirates 9-2. Orioles at home beat Seattle 3-2. And they have a final in Atlanta. Don, a little scoring late. Braves 3, Mets 1. Santana beaten. Reds 8, Phillies 2. It's a final there. Adam Kennedy 0 for 3 here. Near the line in left. This could be interesting. Zimmerman takes a swipe at it, can't get it. And thanks to a couple of big fellows in the first row, he doesn't tumble into the seats. Nice going, big man.
That's pretty good landing area there.
Thank you for protecting our guy.
Yeah, long way to go. Drifting away from you. All he had a shot to do is take a stab at it. And the former pulling guard for the University of Missouri blocks his fall into the seats.
Cardinal fans are known for their courtesy. Inside out swing by Kennedy. Little flare. Felipe. 2 outs. Pitcher spot now, and Chris Duncan to pinch hit. When you can't be home to watch your Nats, why not check out MLB.tv? Every game of the season live online. And those you missed, you can get them on demand. Live radio broadcast included. You never have to miss a game again. Go to nationals.com, follow the prompts, and you'll end up at MLB.tv. Left-handed slugger, the outfielder, Chris Duncan.
But can I make a suggestion to folks who are going to take advantage of the MLB.com radio? Don't watch a game that's being telecast on TV and try to listen to the radio, because there's a little lag time.
A little delay. Now, TV people wouldn't do that, would they? On purpose?
Delay it or watch it.
Chris Duncan, big, strong. Dave Duncan's son. His brother Shelley plays for the Yankees. Got in the middle of some spring training fireworks with some hard sliding into second base in retaliation for something that happened the day before.
Tampa Bay Rays involved in that, weren't they?
There's a lot of bad blood between the Yankees and the Rays. Ronnie Belliard from the grass, and we're going to the top of the ninth. Jason Isringhausen to face Guzman, followed by Millage and Ryan Zimmerman. A couple of base runners needed to get things going. I'd like to welcome all of you who've been watching Masson this afternoon. Orioles won their game. Bob Carpenter, Don Sutton, Debbie Taylor in St. Louis. And we're going to the top of the ninth with the Nationals down 2-3-0 now to the Cardinals. Jason Isringhausen on to try to save his second game of the series. And the Nationals 3 outs away from being swept and losing their 4th in a row after the 3-0 start.
And their ace closer off to a good start. 4 strikeouts in 3 innings, a couple of saves in 3 appearances. Good live fastball, dandy curveball. He's got a little short cutter he can throw for a strike just about any time he wants.
Goes with the fastball in there to Guzman, who has had a bad series. Chris John 0 for 3 today. 1 for 13. His only hit, a solo homer in the 7th inning Friday night. The Nationals won him hitting line drives. 4 of his last 5 at bats have been routine fly balls. 0-2 quickly. And a chopper to Adam Kennedy. The Nationals haven't had a hit since Paul Lo Duca led off the 5th inning with a single.
So typical of Jason Isringhausen, too. When he comes into a ball game, you might see him throw 7, 8, 9, 10 consecutive strikes. That curveball is a great equalizer, and a fastball that's good enough, and he locates it well enough that he can just kind of dial it up there anytime he wants.
Lastings Millage 1 for 3 with a 1st inning hit. Don't want to blame it on him, but since he got that single and got picked off for the final out of the 1st inning with Nick Johnson batting, there's been virtually no offense. And John Lannon walked the leadoff man in the bottom of the 1st, and Rick Ankiel drove in what might be the only run St. Louis needs today. Ryan Zimmerman on deck. He's 1 for 3. Well hit, center field. Ankiel back. 2 outs. He's hit a homer, a double, driven in 2, and he's played a perfect center field all weekend.
See how all that running in the outfield he used to do as a pitcher has paid off? This is a good play. This is like a guy that was born in center field and grew up in center field. Watch the break. Goes after it, the ball drifting away from him, climbs the ladder, a sprawling catch, terrific play.
This guy looks like an all-star.
They're used to seeing a guy here in the last few years make those kind of plays. A guy named Jim Edmonds.
Wow. 2 quick outs in the 9th, and Ryan Zimmerman for the Nationals. This would be the first loss by more than 1 run suffered by the Nats. This ball game about to check in at well under 2.5 hours. Good pitching will do that. St. Louis has out hit Washington 8-4, leading 3-0. And a 2-1. Zimmerman with appears to be a base hit up the middle, sneaks it through, and Ryan Zimmerman has a 6-hit weekend. Problem for him is, Don, nobody's been on base for him.
Yeah, the timely hitting, which was so good early in this road trip in Philadelphia, is just kind of departed. There's been some good quality pitching thrown against him, but I like that at bat in that Ryan Zimmerman didn't try to hit the ball in the upper deck in left field. He knows he needs 2 more compadres like him to get on base.
And Nick Johnson's approach needs to be the same.
Exactly. They're leaving him alone. If you want to take off and go to second, nothing wrong here. They're not going to hold him. The hole on the right side is clogged up, so you're not opening up or closing any holes by being at second.
And Ryan goes. Ball 1 to Nick.
That could also be called a fielder's choice too.
They chose not to do anything.
That's right. Chose just to stand around and watch it.
Nick Johnson gets jammed, and the Cardinal pitching shuts down the Nationals today. 5 hits, all singles, in a 3-0 St. Louis win, and the Cardinals are 5-1. They sweep the Nationals. More from St. Louis in a moment. Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
3-0 to score as the Cardinals sweep here. The Nationals out hit the Cardinals in the first 2 ball games, but were held to 5 base hits today by Loge and by Flores, Franklin, and the Chevy drive of the game. It was a good early part of the ball game for Rick Ankiel, our ChevyFirst.com drive for Ankiel, a home run that came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. It came on top of a double by him that drove in the first run of the ball game. So the Cardinals make it 3 in a row. Good pitching, the order of the day, as their innings eater Kyle Loge gave them 7 good innings with only 4 hits.
2 hours and 19 minutes in a 3-0 shutout win for Don and Debbie. Bob Carpenter and the Cardinals sweep the Nationals. Join us tomorrow. We're in high definition. The Marlins are coming in. We'll get you going at 6:30 on MASN HD. This has been a presentation of MASN. Stay tuned. That's Extra, presented by ChevyFirst.com. Johnny and Ray right now.